So there's a sequence here in this Ray Gunkel versus Hans Schmidt match with what I will generously call a bunch of crappy wrist lock attempts. Um, and they're crappy wrist lock attempts that in like self-defense demos and stuff like that would usually result in a chicken wing, and in other professional wrestling matches elsewhere does typically result in a chicken wing. But part of the spectacle thing here that I think was supposed to be communicated to crowds was the Indian skin burn, quote unquote, thing that, I mean, we most of us have done that as kids in elementary school or whatever. I mean, I did, all my friends did, where you would take alternating grips, in, like doing screwing motions in opposite directions on someone's skin just to burn it and irritate. So, but two hands on one wrist or like ulna area of the arm, manipulating the angles. Those are usually the precursors to wrist locks. If you put flowy robes on these guys, you could suddenly imagine that they're doing aikido badly. Um, and I don't think that's really a unfair comparison because so much of that stuff is meant to be spectacle in one sense or another. The beautiful flowy aikido katas, in my opinion, are meant to demonstrate something more than be something real. In my opinion, right? It's meant to sort of demonstrate principles in a like an artistically exaggerated way or simplified way, if you will. And this spectacle is for profit. So, two very different motivations, but nonetheless, both have spectacle. So this is what I will generously call crappy Aikido wrist lock attempts for show, and also not even necessarily very good by professional wrestling standards in a lot of ways because the sequence here just kind of drags on for a little bit, and it really should have turned into like I guess now I'm being a critic of scripted entertainment, whatever. But I would have expected him to transition to a hammerlock or something else by now. But I guess part of the pain story that they're telling the crowd is, oh, geez, look at the burns I'm inflicting on his skin and look at the strain it puts on the elbow and the shoulder. Now, the only other interesting thing about that is Aikido wrist locks from far away like that, when they're done on untrained people who don't know how to move to get out of danger, blah, blah, blah. The rotation can bust wrists, and that can also bust ulnas, and it can go up to the elbow and it can go all the way up to the shoulder. It can cause breaks all along that line. Not necessarily multiple breaks like that, but like a break will happen somewhere along that circuit. But again, real live resisting opponents, particularly with competitive experience, don't really fall victim to that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, this gives us some kind of like entertainingly bad by Aikido standards, entertainingly bad, in my opinion, by professional wrestling standards moment. Um, but worth taking a look at.